All right, welcome back to the deep dive. You guys know I love a good deep dive. And today we're going to be taking a look at something that impacts all of us no matter who you are, Amazon. We're going to be looking at their Q3 2024 earnings call, unpacking some of these numbers. And honestly, some of these numbers, like I was floored. For example, Prime membership actually accelerated this quarter, faster growth in this economy. Like, what is going on? I need somebody to explain this to me.
What's so interesting is it's not just like isolated wins, we're seeing it across the board. Their core stores business, their cloud platform, AWS is killing it, even some kind of interesting things happening over at Kindle and pharmacy. So a lot to unpack here. Buckle up, it's going to be a wild ride.
Okay, let's get into it. Let's start with what we all know best, the stores business. A 9% bump year over year in North America. Okay, it's pretty solid. But get this, internationally, they saw a 12% jump. Whoa, 12%. Everyone is feeling the pinch these days. So how are they managing this kind of growth?
Well, I think a big part of it is that, they're laser focused on what matters most to people right now. Low prices, fast shipping, and of course, all those Prime benefits.
Yes, Prime. And don't forget, this year, they didn't just have Prime Day. They had two major Prime events, Prime Day and Prime Big Deal Days, saving shoppers over $5 billion.
Exactly, but it's not just about the deals, it's also about speed. They're on track for their fastest year ever for delivery speeds. And that's not just great for convenience, it actually helps their bottom line too.
Hold on, how does faster delivery save them money? Explain that one to me.
Okay, so think of it this way. Think of it like a pizza delivery system. That starts making your pizza closer to your house before you even order it. Okay, so that's kind of what Amazon is doing with what they call re-architecting their inbound network, changing how products enter their warehouses. They can get the products closer to you before you even click buy now. So that means faster shipping, less transport costs, and they can even fit more stuff in each box, which is good for the environment too.
Right, so less transport cost, faster shipping, more stuff per box. It's a win-win-win. But Amazon's also known for their obsession with something called cost to serve. What does that even mean?
Basically, cost to serve means how much it costs Amazon to get that product from their warehouse to your doorstep. And they're kind of legendary in their relentless pursuit of lowering that cost. It's almost an obsession.
I can imagine. When you're shipping millions of packages a day, efficiency is everything.
Yeah.
So how are they doing it? What's their secret sauce?
Well, they outlined 3 key initiatives in the earnings call. We already talked about that inbound network re-architecture, but then there's also the same-day delivery boom.
Right.
Over 40 million customers got free same-day delivery, and that's actually cheaper for Amazon than shipping it from a warehouse that's farther away. Plus, it makes the customers super happy, so they order more.
Wow. Over 40 million people. That's a lot of people. Okay, you mentioned 3 initiatives, so what's the third? Don't tell.
You got it. Robots, robots, robots. They're investing so heavily in automation, and their new 12th gen fulfillment centers are something else. They're like 25% faster at processing orders thanks to all the robots. The one in Shreveport's a great example.
Oh, yeah.
It just means more same-day, next-day shipping. And honestly, this is just the beginning. The robot revolution is here.
I'm kind of picturing like a scene out of Star Wars, but it's actually happening in real life. They're not just optimizing for today. They're building like a futuristic, hyper-efficient system. But all these robots, what does that mean for like the people who used to work in those warehouses?
Yeah, no, that's a valid question. We definitely need to think about the impact of this new technology on jobs, but I think it's not such a simple story of robots just replacing humans. They're actually creating a system where the robots and the humans work together, kind of each doing what they do best.
That's reassuring. So they're saving money with those robots, and that's got to help the bottom line. Speaking of which, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about something that might surprise people. Amazon's advertising business. A lot of folks don't realize what a powerhouse it's become.
Yeah, you're right. They pulled in like $14.3 billion this quarter, which is up 18.8% year over year. And that's on top of a pretty massive base already. It's not like they're starting from zero.
Okay, so pretend I'm a company.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to advertise. Why would I choose Amazon over, say, Google? What's their edge?
Well, they have a few key advantages. First off, massive reach, incredibly engaged customer base, people who are actually looking to buy stuff. Second, they can target shoppers across their entire buying journey, from like discovery all the way to purchase. And finally, they have really good tools to measure how well the ads are working.
Right. So it's not just about eyeballs. It's about reaching the right eyeballs at the right time. And they just launched a Prime Video advertising platform, right? That must open up a whole new avenue.
Oh, for sure. That's going to be a whole new way to reach Amazon's massive Prime Video audience. It's still pretty early, but Yeah, I think the potential is huge.
Speaking of huge, let's talk about AWS, Amazon's cloud computing business. That $110 billion annual run rate just boggles my mind. Like, that's a business in itself.
And you know what's even crazier? AWS is actually accelerating its growth, which is pretty wild for a business that's already that big.
So what's driving this growth? Is it just the usual cloud adoption, or is there something else going on? Everyone's talking about AI these days. That part of the story?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. It's a combination of factors, but I really think the game changer here is the AI market. Like, it's exploding. Companies of all shapes and sizes, they're realizing they need some serious computing power for AI, and well, AWS is where it's at.
Right. So it's like a perfect storm for AWS.
Right.
You've got the cloud boom, and you've got the AI boom, all rolled into one. And Amazon's all in on AI, not just with AWS, but across the entire business. Like, they've even got those custom AI chips, Trainium and Inferentia. What's the deal with those?
Those chips are giving customers more power, but at a lower cost, which is huge. But here's the big takeaway. To do AI effectively at scale, you need your data in the cloud, and that benefits AWS.
It sounds like they've positioned themselves incredibly well for the future. But wait, there's even more to this story, right? Amazon's been busy with some other interesting ventures, like Kindle and pharmacy.
That's right. There's even more going on beneath the surface. Take Kindle, for example, the new lineup, especially the first ever color Kindle. It's been surprisingly successful. I actually got one myself.
Oh, really? I have to admit, I was kind of skeptical about a color Kindle, but now I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I get it. I'm a pretty avid reader. I always thought that, like, a color screen would be distracting, but I tried it out and it actually changes the whole reading experience, especially for graphic novels and magazines. It's pretty amazing. And it's not just me. People are reading more than ever on Kindle. Over 20 billion pages a month.
20 billion pages. That's a lot of reading. Okay, let's talk Amazon Pharmacy.
Yeah.
So I was just at my local pharmacy the other day, and it honestly felt like I was stepping back in time. Forlorn shelves, long wait times. I was like, what's going on? Is Amazon shaking things up there too?
Yeah, for sure. Traditional pharmacies, they just have so many issues. Slow delivery, weird pricing, and it's just generally a hassle. Then Amazon comes along with their 2-day delivery, sometimes even 24-hour delivery, and they're going to expand like crazy. It's a totally different approach.
It sounds like they're taking their expertise with e-commerce and applying it to healthcare. And they're not just making things more convenient, they're also making it cheaper to get your meds right.
Exactly. And then you think about the impact they can have on people actually taking their medications as prescribed and the overall, health outcomes. I mean, if it's easier and more affordable to get your meds, you're more likely to take them. It's a win for everybody.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground already. Stores, robots, advertising, Kindle, pharmacy. My head is spinning, and we're just getting started. Stay tuned for part 2 of this deep dive. We'll continue to explore the wild world of Amazon's Q3 2024 earnings call and what it all means for the future. See you soon.
Welcome back to our deep dive into Amazon's Q3 2024 earnings call.
We were talking about how Amazon is shaking things up. And not just in retail, but in healthcare as well with Amazon Pharmacy. It's fascinating how they're applying the same principles of speed and affordability as something as important as medication.
Yeah, and it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, that relentless focus on efficiency and pushing boundaries.
Yeah, that constant drive to lower cost to serve. It's not just a slogan for them. It seems like a core value that really drives everything they do.
Right, and it's not just about, like, saving pennies here and there. It's about creating a system that can handle, the ever-increasing demands of e-commerce.
Right.
While remaining profitable.
And to achieve that, they're making some pretty big bets, like that massive investment in robotics. Those 12th generation fulfillment centers sound like something out of a sci-fi movie.
They do, don't they? And remember, those facilities aren't just about automating existing processes. It's about, like, fundamentally rethinking how products move through the entire system, optimizing every single step along the way.
So it's not just about replacing humans with robots, but creating a system where humans and robots work together.
Exactly, like a well-choreographed dance.
Yeah.
And as AI continues to advance, I think we can only expect even more sophisticated collaborations between humans and machines in Amazon's fulfillment centers and beyond. It's really the future of work unfolding in front of us.
Yeah, you're right. It really is. And speaking of the future, we have to talk more about AWS. It's not just a cloud computing platform anymore. It's more like the foundation for the entire AI ecosystem, isn't it?
You're absolutely right. And as more companies embrace AI, they're realizing that they need, really powerful and reliable infrastructure to support their AI ambitions. And that's where AWS really shines. They have the scale, the expertise, and the partnerships to be a dominant player in this space.
And it's not just about providing the infrastructure, they're also developing their own AI tools and services, like Amazon SageMaker, which, makes it easier for developers to build and train their machine learning models.
And what about that AI-powered shopping assistant? What was it called? Rufus. That seems like a real game changer.
Yeah, Rufus is a great example of how Amazon is using AI to create a better experience for customers. Imagine a shopping assistant that can answer your questions instantly and help you find the perfect product, without all the hassle of browsing through endless search results. Okay, that sounds pretty awesome. But with all this talk about AI, we have to address the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
What about the concerns around AI bias and privacy?
Right, those are important issues. And I have to give Amazon credit where credit's due. They've been pretty vocal about the need for responsible AI development. They even published their own set of principles for AI, outlining their commitment to things like fairness, transparency, and accountability.
Okay, so at least they're trying to be thoughtful about it.
Yeah. And it's not just about ethics, it's good business. If customers don't trust how a company's using AI, they're not going to use their products and services.
Right. Makes sense. So we've talked about efficiency, innovation, the AI revolution. What else have we missed in this massive earnings call?
Well, we could also talk about Amazon's growing footprint in the entertainment industry.
Oh, yeah?
They're not just an online retailer anymore. They're producing movies and TV shows.
That's right. Amazon Prime Video has become a serious contender in the streaming wars. They're creating some really amazing original content. And they've even won awards for it.
And they're not just competing with other streaming services, they're also shaking things up for traditional studios and networks.
Yeah.
It's really a testament to their ambition.
So it seems like they're disrupting every industry they touch. What's their secret? How do they manage to be so successful in so many different areas?
I think it goes back to what we discussed earlier, their customer-centric approach, their willingness to experiment, and their long-term vision. They're not afraid to take risks, and they're always learning from their mistakes.
And their talent pool is unbelievable. I mean, they've attracted some of the brightest minds in the world.
Oh, absolutely. It's a recipe for success. But it's also important to acknowledge that Amazon's journey hasn't been without its critics. There have been concerns about their labor practices and their impact on small businesses and the way they use customer data.
Right. Those are valid concerns. It's important to hold them accountable.
Definitely.
But at the same time, we can't deny the incredible impact they've had on the world. They've made our lives more convenient, more connected, and more entertaining.
It's true. They've shown us what's possible when you combine technology and innovation with a relentless focus on the customer.
And their story's not over yet. It'd be interesting to see what they do next.
Oh, for sure. I'm sure there are many more chapters to come.
Okay, we're back for the final part of our deep dive into Amazon's Q3 2024 earnings call. I don't know about you, but it feels like we've been on this whirlwind tour of the future. Retail, technology, healthcare.
Yeah, no kidding.
So let's take a step back for a second and try to make sense of it all. What are the big takeaways here? What does all this mean for investors, for consumers, for all of us? Just, trying to make sense of this rapidly changing world.
Well, first off, I think it's pretty clear that Amazon is still a growth machine. I mean, even at their size, they're still finding ways to expand, to innovate, and their revenue just keeps climbing.
Yeah. That 11% year-over-year growth is pretty mind-blowing. It's not just growth for the sake of growth. They're also incredibly profitable. That record-breaking $17.4 billion in operating income, that tells you they're doing something right.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, their efficiency is remarkable. That whole cost-to-serve thing, it's really paying off. But it's not like they're just being cheap. They're also making huge investments in the future, especially in AI and robotics.
That's what I find so fascinating about Amazon. They're not content to just, sit back and relax. They're always looking ahead, making those big bets to stay ahead of the curve.
Right. And that brings us back to something we touched on earlier. How is all this AI and automation going to affect jobs, the economy? I mean, these are questions we need to be talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen those incredible robots in the fulfillment centers. And we've talked about those AI shopping assistants. It's obvious that the way we work is changing.
It is. But I don't think it's as simple as, robots just taking over all the jobs. It's more about humans and machines working together, each doing what they do best.
Right. So it's about adapting, learning new skills, preparing for those jobs of the future.
Exactly. But, okay, let's zoom in for a second. What does all of this mean for the average person, like you and me?
That's the real question, right? Well, I think on a practical level, Amazon is definitely making our lives more convenient. We can get almost anything we want delivered to our door in a matter of hours.
And with those AI tools, like Rufus, shopping could become even more personalized, more efficient.
Right. Imagine never having to waste time scrolling through pages and pages of search results.
You just tell Rufus what you want, and boom, it's there.
Yeah. It sounds almost too good to be true. But then again, there's a flip side to all this convenience. I mean, the more Amazon knows about our shopping habits, our preferences, it does raise some questions about privacy.
Absolutely. We need to be smart about it. We need to understand how our data is being used.
Right. It's like this trade-off. Convenience for data.
Exactly. And we also need to remember that we have a role to play in shaping the future of AI.
Yeah, I agree.
This technology has so much potential.
But it's up to us to make sure it's used responsibly.
Exactly.
So to wrap things up, this deep dive into Amazon's earnings call, it's been a wild ride, but I think we've learned a lot.
For sure.
We've seen a company that's not afraid to innovate, to push the boundaries. And it's clear that Amazon is going to continue to shape our world in ways we can't even imagine yet.
It's also raised some important questions about the role of technology in our lives, about the future of work, about finding that balance between convenience and privacy.
Yeah, definitely some food for thought. And that's what the deep dive is all about, exploring these complex topics, asking those tough questions, hopefully leaving you with a sense of wonder and maybe even a little bit of healthy skepticism.
I like that.
So we encourage you to check out the show notes if you want to learn more about anything we've talked about today. And of course, be sure to join us next week for a brand new deep dive into a completely different subject. Until then, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.
Thanks for listening.